was your week?
It's been okay. If I
You get
get
that one
another
closed
extension
immediately?
of, yeah, I got it closed, but it's far from over. We'll put it that way.
Really?
Yeah.
Just got to get the work done at some point now and figure that part out, or what?
No, ethics complaint against me. Apparently, buyer left some nasty grams on my Facebook. Called me, chewed me out for a couple hours. Took me a while just to get him calmed down enough to listen to what I'm saying. And
Okay. Well, if that's the
yeah,
case, yeah, don't say too much more about it, and just you'll come out in the wash. It'll come out in the wash,
yeah.
don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think we literally did everything we physically could in order to get the deal closed correctly. So I'm not really worried.
Yeah, it's all you can do, right? Do everything you think you can and try and do what's right. So it's all good. Well, we'll see if anybody else shows up today. We were gonna go over purchase agreements today, but I mean, you and me sitting and going over purchase agreements again today probably isn't a lot of use for your time. So
Yeah, I've gone over one or two of those.
one or two.
Yeah, only like nine this year. So yeah, we should be pretty apt on those.
Anything you ever did you ever go back and look at the ones you wrote and say, "Oop, I guess I screwed that up."
No, I haven't. I actively try to avoid doing that.
Actually, avoid trying to go back and look, or avoid trying to mess them up.
Avoid trying to go back and look just because I know there's probably a lot on there like, why the hell was I doing it that way, you know?
I would suggest because when I go back, I pull usually one that I wrote and go over it, and sometimes I'm like, God dang it, because you go like I don't write one every day, right? You don't write one every day, so you go and then you get in a hurry and you're doing something, and I'm like, why did I put that in that blank? Why did I line that one out? And it just is a reminder that every time I can make a mistake on them. So it seems like.
Yeah. And why are we doing this sign-in deal at the beginning of our meetings now?
So it really comes from it's what we should be doing, but it really comes from all these lawsuits, right? Because the lawsuits basically came back and said, "Well, how are you training? What are you doing?" And then that wasn't Wyoming specific, because they're going to start doing this in South Dakota as well, tracking the people that go to Will's classes and that kind of stuff, so that when you sit down in court, you can look and say, "Look, these agents, all of the agents that we have as a brokerage, have an opportunity to go to these classes. We hold them every Friday. Here's the attendance that we've had at them. And if you're somebody who is screwing up a contract and not on the list of people that are attending, it's going to probably fall down to you as an agent saying, hey, look, why did you not take the opportunity to go figure out how to do it and take care of it?" So, same thing with like when we changed clauses and how they were written and what we did. We kind of tracked that. We didn't do a great job with it. So now the registration for Zoom, we'll keep that list available for anybody who's attended. Like you'll show up all the time. So,
Good.
right, and then and that's a good thing, right? Because that allows us as a brokerage to say, hey, look, he's been coming. These are things that we discussed. Here was how we approached it, right? So you get to have some of that in your corner too, and say, hey, this is what we did. This is what we had going on. This is how we train it, how we teach it. So we'll see. We'll see if and I don't know that a lot of people are trying to get over to Wyoming and do business right now. You know
No.
what I mean? I think they're like, if I can't get it here, I'm not gonna drive all the way over there to do whatever it is. So Christina, Mickey will probably still be in class when she can. Um, I think they're gonna throw out, hey, it's a Kelsey. Nice sweater. Are you looking sharp today?
I'm very colorful, ready for Valentine's Day. Got my little conversation heart earrings in.
Woo! You got your conversation heart earrings in, Tegan?
Yeah, they're just covered up.
Yeah. I got them with my hoops. My hoops and my gauges.
Nice.
So the plan was to talk about purchase agreements today, Kels. I don't know if that's something that you want to go through, if that's something you need, or if you'd rather, since it's just the three of us, and I don't think anybody else is probably jumping on since it's 10:05. We can talk about whatever today. Tegan was asking why the sign in, and I know you've had that conversation already, but really it comes from the lawsuits, right? Us as a brokerage trying to demonstrate an ability to show we have training available. These are the people that are taking it and attending. Um, Covers the brokerage in terms of liability, but also if you're coming to the class, it covers you in terms of liability, right?
Mhm.
Because then the brokerage is going to stand behind you. If you don't come to these things and do it, and you screw something up, and it's not covered by or you get sued, then it's a little bit tougher to say, hey, you had all these opportunities. Why weren't you there? Um, so yeah, just changing it, tracking, better tracking as to who attends. Because right now it's just been the same small group of people. But Tegan and I were just talking about. I don't think anybody's beating down the doors from South Dakota to come over to Wyoming and do deals. Um, and then Wyoming folks, I told Tegan, I said I go through every time I pull a contract to look at this. I always look and I'm like, dude, why did I put that in that line? Oh, I missed that section. What did I do there? Why did I line that one out? So, and it's not a lot. Most of the time it's little things, but you get in a hurry. You don't have it in the right place. You don't have it done. You don't have somebody else to look at it. So I would just kind of go back sometimes and look at those ones that you've written and see how you feel about them. There's
Mhm.
a difference between looking at a completely blank one and starting to fill it out and going back and looking and see where you put all the other things in your contracts. So I would recommend doing that as you go along, just to see. And then I did talk to Mike Lansing out of Casper yesterday again. It's still April. They've got them sent off for final approval and to upload to all the sites and everything, but they won't be available till April. So, and that's going to be a shit ton. It's like 50 or 60 contracts that have differences in them.
Is that an official measurement? A shit ton?
It is. It is. That is a load of stuff that you might call shit that averages 2,000 pounds.
Okay.
But yeah, no, for sure. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how many changes there are. I think I've told you guys we're not getting red line versions. There's too many changes. A lot of it is just deleting old language, updating language, fixing grammatical errors, that kind of stuff. And then we'll try and pull out the significant ones and maybe put something together as we go through them. And then that's going to be a required for everybody to go through all the contracts again, so that we can have discussion about them.
Okay.
And when did you say?
April at some point. I don't have a
Oh, okay.
specific date yet.
Gotcha.
Um, what we were talking about clauses for escrow stuff.
Yep.
Tegan, anything else that you thought of?
No, I think that's pretty much everything, in all honesty. Everything else, I pretty much have the clause that I've been using in there, or have something approved by David that we've been using. So,
Do you have anything from David that you think would be valid to have in there, or is it just
no,
crazy
just
stuff?
just crazy stuff that 99% of transactions wouldn't be using.
Okay.
And we kind of workshop the wording. That's kind of where the escrow and stuff is kind of going right now.
Right. Kels, anything that you've seen?
No, I don't do any business because I'm slow right now, but that's okay. We'll pick it back up.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say buyers for the last 24 hours have been nuts here, so I'm sure you guys are gonna be getting them here pretty quick too.
Yep. It's the
It's only
plan.
nuts there because you don't have any inventory.
Uh, I guess, I don't know. I had 14 phone calls about four different properties in a span of about 2 hours yesterday. All
Wow.
properties that have been sitting for 80 plus days.
Oh, wow.
That's a
So
good
for whatever
indication that
reason, I
something's changing a little bit. That's cool.
hoping so.
I take
Cool.
14 calls. Now my problem is I don't have three properties for them to call about.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I was ready to just turn my phone off and throw it in the toilet because it was just phone call about, so say 1733, and then it was like 1502 Wildwood, and then it was 1703, and then it was just like come on, guys, let's get a conference call. I'll tell you all the information about this one, and then I'll jump on the next one for all these
So,
guys.
are you getting, are those sign calls for you?
Yep.
Huh. That's a lot of sign calls.
As an extreme amount of sign calls, and
Oh,
for whatever reason, half of them are land and half of them are properties. So it was just
Right?
like I said, as soon as I hang up the phone, I'm calling one person right back and just continuously. And it's great for business.
Do
But
your signs have a big picture of you as the mayor of Newcastle on them?
yeah, I think underneath it does say mayor underneath.
So
So
that's
really?
why you're getting. That's just a lot of sign calls, man.
I would like it, but
no, and I got new signs, and they're like the old school ones that have like the big, what I'm talking about, and it has the flappy sign underneath.
Yeah, the things that we can't use in Cheyenne because they don't survive. I
yeah.
tried.
Yeah,
I
I
bought
have
5 of those
them.
originally because I was going to be the cool realtor with the cool hangy sign and stuff, and they just got thrashed.
Yep, I keep them mainly in residentials where it's not going to get a lot of wind, and then my land outside, I have just the regular signs.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude. Um, all right. Anything else you want to talk about, or 'cause I've got lots of things to do today. I'm sure you guys do too. And I don't want to just be here for the sake of just being here.
Not really a contract question, but kind of a what do you guys have for like list of potential like repairs that you might get for like appraisals and stuff? Like when I'm listing a property, I just walk through the property and say, yeah, chipping paint. But if you guys have anything that's like, these are the things that have been called out on the past 20 appraisals, I'd really like that.
Shipping
So
paint and downspout extensions.
yeah, I was gonna say drainage, but you know that you can go to the FHA and VA guidebooks and see what they can call out on appraisals.
Just FHA loan guidebooks.
Yeah, and I think the VA one is 500 pages,
Oh,
so you'd have to pull that section out of it. I don't know how big the FHA one is, and then with the caveat that you don't just tell people, hey, these will only be called out on VA and FHA because every conventional loan has the same capability to call out the exact same things, right? Sometimes they call them different things, deferred maintenance as opposed to just saying chipping and peeling paint, or deferred maintenance as opposed to, hey, your railing doesn't meet safety standards and some kid's going to get his head stuck in there and then you're going to be in trouble.
okay. But is this the FHA single family housing policy handbook 4000.1? Is that what you're talking
Yeah, it
about?
could be. And the other, they're all lenders handbooks basically. And I may at some point have saved the VA section out of there. Um, I would I would call your appraisers that you have because it will also help you build that relationship a little bit
Yeah,
and
did
say,
that. They gave me this. Oh, just says
now it
electrical
blurs that
issues.
out for me.
Yeah, minimum property requirements and standards for government-backed loans, FHA, whatever, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, property safe, electrical issues, faulty wiring, exposed wiring, plumbing problems, leaky pipes, malfunctioning water heaters, just basics on it. But I can spout these basics off pat.
Well, and I don't, so I can spot the basics off most of the time too. I mean, there's dumb things like FHA loans if you had more than $5,000 in cosmetic repairs. That they can call that out, right? You have to have functioning appliances in it to go FHA or VA. You can't have safety, health, or call it peeling paint, call it deferred maintenance, whatever the case is. The roof can't leak. I mean, it's all really, really basic stuff. And the only way I would be able to give you all the detailed stuff is go through the whole list. I think that there are, at least in Cheyenne, some appraisers that are possibly are getting called out for maybe overstepping a little bit. But there's this whole process that you can go through to challenge appraisals and do that kind of thing and say, hey, is this really something that should be flagged or not? Um, I think that most of the time they're accurate based on letter of the law for what it is on those handbooks and stuff. Otherwise, they wouldn't still have their jobs and they wouldn't still be. I mean, every one of their appraisals get graded.
Yeah.
So, um, and I would the only way you're going to find out what those appraisers call out specifically are to talk to those specific appraisers. Because down here, every peeling paint should be called out, right? We know that on VA appraisals. I'll bet 50% of the VA appraisals that we get they miss it, or they don't call it out because they don't, for whatever reason, think that it's applicable or whatever. But I always just phrase when we walk through and look at houses, these are things that they could be addressed in an appraisal, or they could be addressed in a repair. And I give them everything that I see, and then I tell them I'm not perfect at it. I may miss some things as well. We may see something that comes up that I didn't catch, and we'll just have to deal with it as we go through. Are you worried about when you're pitching, make sure that you sell it to FHA and VA, and then you get tagged with something to be fixed?
Kind of a little bit. When I walk through, I tell them that like 60 something percent of our market is looking for government backed loans, FHA, VA. Majority of the time, these are the things that I see on these, but I obviously don't know everything that's going to come back on them.
Right.
So I would say that probably get these fixed for the less likelihood that we're going to have a cash buyer. They're just going to appreciate it more, where the other ones are going to require it.
Well, and you can always say, hey, look, when there's a request, just know that we may have to address some of these.
Yeah,
I don't know that we always have to fix them early right now. I do think more so now than 20 and 21, right? But then nobody was fixing anything, and nobody cared if you had a VA or an FHA loan because they would take the next one that had cash.
gotcha.
Now, you're right. If it's 60% of your market is a government-backed loan, 60% of the time you're gonna have to deal with these. I just hate making people spend money before they get their house sold. Because if it
Yep,
doesn't get sold, then you're saying what? Like, hey, yep, thanks for spending your money.
yep,
Have a nice day. So if it's quick, easy things under 500 or $1,000, they want to sell their house. I'm great with it. If their whole house needs repainted because it's peeling because it's been in Newcastle out there in the weather for 15 years or whatever, we got to figure something else out because people just don't have the money to do that typically.
yep.
An appliance is broken, whatever the case is, and I don't know what you guys have up there, but some of the home warranty companies will do appliances and stuff like that while you're listing too. So sometimes you might be able to buy a home warranty, or they might be able to buy a home warranty that goes along with it. But yeah, I would just talk to your appraisers. Good relationships with those guys, and it's all basic stuff. I mean, I'm not saying that I know the whole list every single time, but you know enough to walk through it. And you miss something? Yeah, get the guidelines and look at it. But Kelsey knows what's up with them. That
Okay.
won't go FHA. That won't go VA. That's a trailer house.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I don't know. And yeah, it's we're all trying to take loans, however, get people to get loans, however we can get them right now. So
And rural development, what are my criterias for that?
uh, go to the USDA website.
Okay.
It is a little bit. Everybody will tell you that in general practice, it's as strict or more strict than what what VA is, but that's still safety, health, and hazards, those kinds of things, peeling paint, all that kind of junk. Because
Okay.
I'll bet all of Newcastle qualifies for USDA.
That's what I kind of assumed. So I know that it can't be subdividable for like
If
bigger
you if
pieces
you
of
go if you
land.
go to the USDA website, you can type in the address, and it'll tell you whether it's eligible.
Okay. All right.
And that's, I mean, it's certainly a great thing, right? Zero money down. Has to be a residence on it. It can't be just land.
Oh, it has to have one?
I'm 99% sure it has to have a residence on it.
Gotcha. Okay, because I had one that was calling me and they were wanting to do a rural development loan for land, and their lender said that they could do that. And I had never heard it. That's what kind of prompted all these questions.
Gotcha. I am not 100% sure. Do you know, Kelsey, just from
I don't
things
know
you've
that
done?
loan program. I know it. I don't know the details of it.
Yeah, it's zero money down.
Yep.
But yeah, check it out, Tegan, because as far as I know, it has to have a residence on it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely check into
Same
it.
as VA and FHA.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
And then let me know. Okay. Well, I'm gonna finish making some calls here, and then I'm gonna go try and get this computer put into the office if I'm not showing houses. So,
Sounds good. Thank you.
anybody else at the office, Kels?
Nope.
No.
Never.
Big negative.
But I'll see you guys later. Have
All
a good
right.
one.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Tegan.
Yep. Bye.